Hi there. Welcome to another week of Focus. I'm Tala Shatara, guiding you through important conversations that are happening not just in Music City, but in your own backyard. Vanderbilt Medical Center is doing a lot of great work, a lot of great events that happen underneath their umbrella. And one that actually started not too long ago has already been taking the city by storm. I'm excited to talk about it with them. We are here with the Director of Community Development, LeighEllen Blevins. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to you.
We've been girling it up like before this even started. We've already hit it off. We are talking about Clip In for the Cure. I have been alongside of you guys since you all started. What, last year? Was it your first year or the year before?
We're on year 5.
You're on year 5?
Yes.
That's insane.
2022 was the very first year. So this is the 5th year of Clip In for the Cure, and we've already surpassed $1 million raised since our event started in 2022 for cancer research.
That's amazing. I cannot wait to dive into that. Obviously, what the event means to you all, why it was created, and also what the millions of dollars go to in terms of obviously research and funding with Vanderbilt Medical Center. But you got into this. This is your new role with obviously leading the charge when it comes to Clip In for the Cure. But you are on a big team of people that are helping make it happen. But it all stemmed from a personal story, as many things do. So I'd love to hear from you on that.
Yeah. So I'll take you back about 6 years ago, almost exactly. I was 25 years old, freshly married, 5 weeks into our marriage, and realized I was having some pain in my side. And it just felt not right. And, you always say to listen to your body, and I just knew something was not normal about this. And so my husband and I went to Vanderbilt's emergency room and spent the whole day there, lots of tests and things, and left with news that it was most likely ovarian cancer.
Wow.
So within a week, I was with my doctor, Dr. Elena Brown at Vanderbilt-Ingram Cancer Center. Could not speak more highly of her. She was my oncologist, and so she got us straight into, I got scheduled for surgery right after that, had a huge surgery. They were able to remove almost all of the cancer. Just a few specks were left over. And then after that, the plan was 6 rounds of chemotherapy. So did the whole thing, lost all the hair. My husband buzzed his head with me. So we were the bald Blevins together.
Oh, my gosh. It's grown back beautifully.
Thank you. We've been working pretty hard for about 5.5 years now. So went through all my treatment at Vanderbilt, was just incredibly grateful for the care that I received, for the attention to detail from my doctor, the comfort that she gave me. She was always very honest, but also very, just gave great, she spoke in a way that made sense, where I could ask her the same question a million different ways, and she never was bothered by that. She just would explain it to me, because this is big news that I'm dealing with as a 25-year-old freshly into marriage and trying to figure out life. And we
all don't have medical degrees to know what this means and what they're talking about.
Right. Yeah. So just so grateful for the whole team of nurses that was helping me through my chemo as well. There's all kinds of side effects or allergic reactions that can happen during chemo that I experienced, and I just knew they could take care of me with whatever was coming my way. So just had the best experience. Fast forward 5.5 years cancer-free still. Woo-hoo! So very grateful for that. Yeah. Huge milestone to hit that 5-year this past a couple months ago. So when I finished my treatment back in 2021, my husband and I were just like, we want to do something more for Vanderbilt and just kind of give back to the place that I feel like gave me my life back. And so we partnered with, Vanderbilt's development team. So I partnered with Casey Holden, who started Clip In for the Cure. So Casey and I worked together to do a much smaller scale mini event to go towards my doctor's research at Vanderbilt. And in that conversation, Casey was like, by the way, we're starting this event called Clip In for the Cure. If you'd be interested in, being on the planning committee, like we're looking for people just like you who are passionate about this and care about the cause and want to get involved. So we jumped on the committee and helped, with various, ideas or outreach or different things. And I shared my story, being a cancer patient at the very first event in 2022. Since then, my husband and I, we've participated every year. We're always on the bike. And then this last year, I had the opportunity to step into the role to lead the whole event. So start as a cancer patient and then planning committee member for the last several years, writer and all of that. And then now getting to lead the event. So I feel like I have a lot of experience in that, what it's like as a participant to now be in this role planning. It's a really cool full circle moment.
I was going to say very full circle. And for you to have different seats and different hats on when it comes to this one event, right? Like you mentioned, you were kind of that student. Now you're the teacher. You were the patient. Now you're essentially the healer in that way. And I really love that. I think people that dedicate their life to nonprofit work or development like you do with Vanderbilt Medical Center, it really does stem from such a personal tie. And, we know obviously the machine that Vanderbilt is. We obviously, people come from all over the world to be seen here. I constantly think of like Nicole Kidman and her constant commercials. If you get Nicole Kidman, you're doing something right. But, we never really get to hear from people like you who have these success stories and really speak to not just the center as a whole, but the people in it and the people that, you can't recommend enough. And the doctors that had just the most amazing, empathetic and knowledgeable way of being able to help you with the past, however long you were going through that. Let's talk about this because I would be remiss if I didn't ask you. There, like you mentioned, there is an entire story within just this conversation about Clipping for the Cure, and that's your own personal tie. When you had heard that it might be cancer and you did receive that diagnosis, what were some things that you did to help yourself get through it on a personal level, maybe behind closed doors, so that someone's listening and they can maybe adopt those tips and tricks?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's gotcha journalism right there.
I know. It's a good question. I feel like I just had to lean into the people around me, like my family and my friends and my husband. Like it's not something that someone should have to go through alone. And so it was important to continue to talk to friends and family, and they would come visit me, or it was COVID. So already 2020 was the year that I was going through treatment. So already a very isolating, weird year. And I was at high risk for I was immunocompromised with chemotherapy. So we had to be super careful. And things that my family did is, for the holidays over Thanksgiving, they all came to Nashville because my family's all over the place. They all came to Nashville to see me. They all wore masks to keep me safe because I was immunocompromised. We did as much as we could outside just out of that, trying to stay safe and healthy. And so things like that. I journaled a lot, just wrote a lot of things down. I honestly would have not looked back at it to my journal, but it would be interesting to see the things that I wrote down just at that time.
It's a time capsule.
Just I would, because sometimes the only activity I did those days after chemo was sit on the porch for 15 minutes and write, because that's all I had the energy to do. So I think the other part was when I was feeling good to get out of the house, we would just go for a walk down to the mailbox was one of my goals. I was living in an apartment complex, just not feeling comfortable to do things, not having energy. And so we would we're going to go to the mailbox today. That was our activity for the day. And so it was just kind of taking it a day by day, celebrating. This was another thing. I know I'm going on, but
I love it.
Another thing that we did was I'm remembering all these things, some stuff that you just almost forget about. But after each treatment, we went and got a post-treatment reward, whether that was a fun pair of shoes or a nice little smoothie or just did something fun to celebrate each treatment getting closer to the end.
Yeah.
Did the big ringing the bell at the very end and all of that, celebrated that big, and then had a huge no mo chemo party where all my friends and family came in town and just celebrated that this part was done. And so yeah, those are things that come to my mind at the start.
And, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I think a lot of people can do a lot for themselves, but a big majority of it is, if not all of it, is what other people can do for you. Because like you mentioned, the mailbox, just walking to the mailbox was such a goal. It's something that we take for granted. And so obviously people have to know that if you're surrounded by somebody in this state and in this position, that you can be a huge part of their healing and that you should be, because they genuinely cannot do it on their own. And you're a true testament to that. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. So that's a good reminder for people that if they're not in that position like you, but that they know somebody like you. Let's also talk a little bit about, obviously, why was it Vanderbilt that automatically made you think that I got to go there? Or, you know, was it just, is that somewhere you always went in terms of your healthcare?
Yeah. So I've been in Nashville for 8 or 9 years now. I started just to give you backstory, I was a teacher before. I was diagnosed with cancer while I was teaching. So that's not a job you can keep doing while you're going through chemo typically. Sometimes you can. Some people can do it. I could not. So I was teaching, and so I wasn't working for Vanderbilt yet. But I mean, you see it and hear about it everywhere. There's a reason why it is so known across the city, across the nation, because of all the amazing things that they can accomplish and that they have done. So what I've always told people now working there, and when I talk to them, it's like, you don't ever want to need them. You don't want to need Vanderbilt-Ingram Cancer Center or the Children's Hospital. But when you do, you're thankful that Vanderbilt is who is there. And so knowing all that about it, it was never really a question of where I was going to go. And so my family was like, yeah, you should go to the Vanderbilt ER. And so that's where we went. And because of that, they got me in right away with an oncologist who, like I said, I see her at Clipping for the Cure every year. She comes and rides and asks me about my family and knows my dog by name. Like, just, you know, she's more than just a doctor to me at this point. And always asks how my parents are doing and all of that. So it's been sweet to just kind of see, like, yes, she's my doctor, but like I feel just like she actually knows me more than I'm not just a patient on her list.
I like what you said, that you don't feel like you necessarily want to be able to have to use Vanderbilt, but it's always amazing to know that they're there in your corner when you do. And we're so beyond blessed and lucky to have them in our city because, like I said, people come from all over the world.
Yes.
Not just the country, the world, to actually be here, study, and see people at Vanderbilt. We've been dancing around this very big event. I think it's time that we clip in and talk about it. Clip in for the Cure, now 5 years in. Obviously, I'm sure people can kind of gather what you guys maybe do to have some fun and get active, but you take all the fun and you put it out at Geodis Park, which is an amazing setting to do something like this. Let's talk about this event. You guys are getting ready for it.
We are, yes. So Clipping for the Cure, the 5th year is going to be on October 3rd at Geodis Park. So think about 100 spin bikes. We bring 100 spin bikes to Geodis Park into the concourse area. And we have cycling instructors from across Nashville that we partner with, DJs to make it a really electric environment. And we're doing 4 hours of 4 different classes. So you're going to hear me say the number 4 a lot. We kind of say, you know, think about Clipping for the Cure.
Yeah.
Think about the number 4. So it's 4 hours, 400 riders. People usually form teams of 4, and each person is riding for a different hour. Now, I will tell you, the class is only 40 minutes, and for some reason that was comforting to people of like, okay, it's 40 minutes, not an hour.
Because I've done a spin class.
Yes, and spin classes can be intimidating, and I understand because I've done them, love them. It is hard. I will say at Clipping for the Cure, it is for everyone. So my dad, he's coming and he's going to clip in. He's never done a spin class in his entire, like, I don't know when he's ever done one, and he's going to do it. He rides a bike, but different.
Right,
you know?
very different.
So yes, the instructors are going to give you, you know, fun moves to add on and things and motivate you. But if you just sat down and pedaled the whole time, no one's going to say a word. They're just thankful that you're there and showing up and riding for those who can't be there today. So you really can just sit back and pedal, and it's okay. Like, everyone is just having fun, embracing it. It's a really energetic environment, and it's just sweet to see so many people coming together for the same cause to raise funds for pediatric and adult cancer research.
Yeah.
We have so many doctors and staff that show up and ride. Dr. Ben Park, the director of Vanderbilt-Ingram Cancer Center, he's there every year pedaling, along with so many other doctors and nurses, and just it goes beyond. So it really is it brings out so much so many people in the community within Vanderbilt and just the fitness community and just Nashville in general. So don't let the spin cycling part intimidate you, because there's also opportunities to buy a spectator ticket. So if you just want to come and be part of it, that's an option too.
There's on-site vendors, I'm assuming?
Then there's a whole concourse of vendors. So if you're not on the bike, we'll have all these booths that you can explore, ranging from, we have Optimize You coming to do compression. Urban Sweat will be there with cold plunges. We'll have Stretch Lab and Bodywell, acupuncture. I mean, I could go on and on. We're going to have a bouquet box is coming this year, a flower company, and they are doing a give one, get one deal. So you purchase a bouquet that's going to be donated to patients at Vanderbilt-Ingram Cancer Center. And when you do that, you get to make yourself a little DIY bouquet that you get to take home. So you're then getting to take home a fun little happy and blessing a cancer patient at the same time. We're going to have a kids corner. So it is a kid-friendly event. There's actual kid-size spin bikes with 2 classes offered during the day, where they have an instructor who's coming to teach a class on a level that kids can do. And
put me on that one.
Yeah, right.
Put me in that class. Put me in that class.
We'll have face painters and balloon artists, so many others that I haven't even mentioned, but it's just a way to kind of get out in the community. The last thing that you can do, if you're not riding, you've explored the concourse, we also have fitness classes that we offer right on the lawn, right outside of the stadium. Like yoga and Pilates. So a little more lower impact type of event workout, a little lower workout that you can do. So much to do. It is for everyone. Like I said, you can come as a spectator, but we have people form teams. But if you have more than 4 people that want to join your team, do it. We'll make sure you have the right number of bikes by the event day. So if you have 8 people who show up, we'll make sure you've got 2 bikes next to each other, and you'll have your schedule of when you're riding. You
guys are so accommodating, because this is a huge beast that you guys are creating. Yes. I mean, 400 people. Mm-hmm. You guys have already surpassed $1 million in fundraising when it comes to this. This is obviously a huge undertaking, and the fact that you guys are so involved in making sure that everyone has an amazing time while they're there is just the icing on the cake, and that's really, really special. It just sounds like a carnival, truly. When I hear you talk about it, I've never been, right? And I've known about the event for so long. I would love to come see it with my own 2 eyes for the very first time.
I hope you will.
I definitely will. And, for me, it's really cool to hear about, obviously, all the fun that people are having. But, of course, it's all for an amazing cause. And like you mentioned in the very beginning of our chat, over $1 million have surpassed in raising funds for research and for going back to pediatric and, did you say pediatric and adult cancer research?
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about that and the funds and where they're allocated to and how that works.
Yeah. So what we do is we pool all of these funds together, and each year they have almost like a Shark Tank type event at the Cancer Center, where researchers are coming together and presenting these amazing opportunities of these high risk, high reward opportunities that they could use funding for to further cancer research. So these researchers are coming together and presenting ideas of where they could use these funds, and then a decision is made each year on which research we're going to support. So this year's funds went to pediatric thyroid cancer. So we've supported prostate cancer, colorectal cancer, melanoma, pediatric thyroid. So each year, a different type of research is supported. It's, like I said, it's high risk, high reward, because to get these discovery grants and then go from there, you get further funding to make these bigger impacts. So it starts on a smaller, quote unquote, scale. And just only goes further from there to really further the research.
Do you guys know the focus of the type of cancer you guys are going to be focusing on this time around?
So pediatric thyroid cancer was this past year. We will find out after the event what it's going to go towards when they do the next awards.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's really interesting, because obviously cancer is not this just one singular bucket, right? There's like a million buckets in it, and it deals with different types of demographics and different types of ages and genders and every single thing. And I, as someone who actually had an overactive thyroid as a child, I thank you for that. So that is something that's very important important as well. We talked about Clip In for the Cure. You said that all skill levels are welcome. What do they need to bring? Any know before you go situations?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the way that our bikes work is you can just wear regular tennis shoes. You don't have to wear the specific shoes that clip in. I would say something comfortable and athletic wear. We'll be outside, so think about that. Probably bring a water bottle, but we'll have access to water and sports drinks and food and all of that. We'll have sweat towels for you. We'll have yoga mats. So really yourself and something comfortable and athletic to wear, and maybe a water bottle to walk around with you. But we'll have, like I said, we'll have some available too. So it's simple. We'll have, when you register, you get a free t-shirt, which is fun. Everybody loves a free t-shirt. So, and lots of goodies and samples that'll be passed out on the concourse, as well as food options too when you're there that will be provided with your registration.
Yeah. We talked a lot about your story in the beginning, and when you were kind of in the thick of it, right, going through, you even mentioned you were going through this during COVID, which is, like you mentioned, a very isolating, unprecedented time. You probably didn't even have more than one person in the hospital with you at all times. Very, very isolating, very dark, very scary. Now knowing what you do alongside Vanderbilt and cancer research, what would you want to say to that girl who was a 25-year-old at the time going through a very unimaginable thing?
I'm going to try not to cry.
I am sorry if I provoked that.
No. It just, I would never say like, I'm glad that it happened to me, but it completely changed the trajectory of my life. Like, I don't know that I would have changed careers and then begun this career of fundraising for the place that literally has kept me here and where I am today. So it changed my career path completely. I didn't even know anything about it when I really was thinking about it. And so it just totally changed that path for me. It has led me to so many wonderful people within the community. And just, I'm always blown away by people who are just willing to give where they're able to support people. Like, you are directly supporting someone like me. When you're donating to cancer research, you're helping someone like me who is now 5.5 years cancer free and able to continue to make impact on cancer research. And unfortunately, that's not how everyone's story ends. And I'm really grateful, and I don't take that for granted every single day. It's led me to, we adopted our son last year, and a lot of that came through my journey with cancer. And I don't know, you don't know how things would have happened. And I'm like, I can't imagine him not being in my life. And so it's just, you would never say you don't want it to happen, because now I'm like, look at all the beautiful things that came from it.
Right. And I think that that's the best way that you could ever answer something like that as well, right? I think a lot of us, anytime we go through trauma or we go through anything that's been hard, we don't necessarily love that it happened, but we can see the beauty and the journey and the healing, and we can realize that we were put in a position that we would have never entered without that. And that is a lot when it comes to closure and it comes to healing, is that thought alone. Yeah. So I really love that people like you and Casey, who has a specific tie to this cause as well, people that are constantly involved in nonprofit work, especially even with Vanderbilt, is because of stories like yours. And so I'm really happy that you got to share it for people like me, right? Who don't necessarily have that tie, but their heart really beats for helping the community, getting out and volunteering, and especially understanding the vulnerability of this cause as well. How can we be a part of helping you guys with this cause? Are you guys looking for volunteers? What are other ways that people can get involved, not just with this event, but all year long? Yeah,
I mean, we have a wide range of events that happen there's so many that are going on, and for all different areas. We could use volunteers for this event, and then also I'm with the hospital can take volunteers as well. I think just finding what is valuable, like where is your passion, and how can you, if you have a way to make an impact, you should do it. It helps so many people. So yeah, I would say definitely volunteering. We need volunteers at Clippin' for the Cure. If you're interested, clippinforthecure@vumc.org. You could email me, and then yeah, I mean, collection drives are always helpful. The hospital has like lists of things that, you know, they're always running through, like almost like a chemo patient bag, that they're comfort kits and things at Vanderbilt-Ingram Cancer Center and Monroe Carell Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt. And so you could always collect items and donate them as well. That would always be a huge help too.
Yeah. So many ways to lend your support, lend a healing hand, a listening ear when it comes to obviously not just Clippin' for the Cure, but so many things that are happening at Vanderbilt Medical Center and Ingram Cancer Center as well, because obviously that's an entire beast and machine on its own. You just mentioned it before. Where do people need to go for more information, to get signed up, to connect with you? Hey, maybe even to donate and say, I want to donate electrolytes, or I want to, I want to come and teach a class, or I want to be a part of this. I want to lend my skills to you.
Yeah. So you can go to clippinforthecure.org, like the number 4. You could email me if you have questions at clippinforthecure@vumc.org. We're on Instagram as well, Clippin' for the Cure, so you can find us in lots of ways. We would love to have you.
Yeah. Have you guys ever considered having multiple events throughout the year with Clippin' of the Cure or Clippin' for the Cure, knowing how popular it is?
That's a good question. We haven't done that
Put me
before.
down for that.
Yeah. Come on.
Not trying to tell you how to do your job, but I think that would be really cool to have maybe a spring or a fall event. I mean, from what I'm saying, the glass ceiling has been shattered, right?
Yeah.
It's only going up from here. You guys are helping people in so many ways. So LeighEllen, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on this amazing new role. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. It's been so fun.
Of course.
It's been great to be here.
Of course. A full circle moment right here. We're talking with LeighEllen Blevins all about Clippin' for the Cure. You guys, there is still time to get involved. Grab yourself, grab some teammates, whatever you want. Grab your sneakers, grab your water bottle. And if you feel like you just don't want to work out that day, well, then know that you can go do it for a good cause. And hey, no one's judging you however you want to spin on the bike. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Of course. We'll see y'all next week on Focus. We're going to have all this information and more on our Focus Facebook page, and we will see you next week.